Hello again, wrestling fans. On behalf of the Highspots Wrestling Network, once again, I'm Corky Franks. You don't look too amused, but maybe you are. Hey guys, I'm joined by the superstar phenom Effy. Effy, oh man, that was nice,
I'm
right?
honored, honestly. Corky, that is an introduction that I barely deserve.
Actually, it was a crappy introduction, but what is not crappy is this 1977 Star Wars shirt, but it's not quite as flamboyant as this jacket. Dude, you can see this thing from a mile away. Tell me about I guess, the history or the story behind this jacket.
Listen, when Effie walks into a room, what's the first thing you notice? You notice this big, flashy, sparkly, spiky jacket. You go, ooh, that's a flashy jacket. Ooh. And then I get in the ring, and what happens? I don't wrestle with it on. I got to take the jacket off. So now I have a measuring stick. I just got an article of clothing over. It's not me. I'm not over. I'm not the one who's over yet. I just walked through the curtain. If you know me, maybe I'm over to you. But if you've only seen the jacket, you've only seen the fishnets, you've only seen a little bit of the flamboyance, right? The picture doesn't start to make sense until the jacket comes off. Because now I've got to meet the expectation of a jacket this flashy. I've got to go above and beyond the pop you did when you saw my jacket and you said, ooh, that's a fancy jacket. Now it's, ooh, that's a fancy wrestler. Ooh, that's a fancy superstar. Ooh, that Effie. You'll forget I was wearing a jacket at all. You'll remember next time when I walk out. But as far as my ring work goes, I will exceed the pop of the jacket. And I owe it to myself and to everyone in the room to give you the flash and then back it up.
Well, another measuring stick you have is the Fest Championship because you are the champion. And Fest is known for throwing some of the wildest parties in wrestling. How fun is it to be the Fest champion and participate at Fest Wrestling?
You know, I represent the Fest brand. And you go to the Fest shows and you see there's people jumping off the ceilings. Everybody in the audience is drunk. Everybody's having a party. There's tables breaking. There's chairs breaking. And then I go to another show and I'm holding this championship. And they're going, hey, baby, you got to work clean tonight. Hey, baby, this is a PG family-friendly show. Hey, baby, we know you're from Fest. We know you get wild. And I like that they have that in the back of their mind. Because I'm representing Fest everywhere. I'm creating intrigue for Fest everywhere while still playing by the rules when I need to. Because there's that little secret. You get Effie at your promotion, we can do it for the kids, we can have a PG good time. But in the back of their mind, they're going, I know what this crazy dude can do. I see that Fest championship. I've heard the wild stories of Fest. I've heard that he's put people through hell there, through tables there, through thumbtacks there. He's had adult toy fights there. Easy does it, right? But we keep it PG for the kids. But I want everybody in the audience to see that Fest belt, to see the Fest champion and know there's a little more going on here than we might even get. And that's the real intrigue of Fest, the forbidden fruit.
Well, something that is not forbidden is next weekend you're bringing the entire contingent of Fest Wrestling to Charlotte, North Carolina to take on the entire roster of PWX Wrestling. What are you looking forward to most next weekend? Should I say, it will be on the Highspots Wrestling Network as well.
Absolutely. Where you can watch the PWX shows, you can watch the Fest shows, but they put up an open challenge. PWX said, look, we've seen a few of our guys go down there to Fest. We've seen Darius Lockhart make his way down to Fest. You know, we've seen Tammy Lou and White Mike, the gymnasties, make it down to Fest. We've even seen members of the syndicate from PWX down at Fest. And now we said, well, let's see what the fuss is about. And they issued this challenge to Fest. And now we're coming up, and we said, well, hold the phones. We're here in the hall. We're here in the building. We're here in the arena. And tonight for the kids at the PWX Pure Show, for the families, they're going to get a friendly version. And I'm just scoping the building out tonight. Because once the entire Fest roster comes in, and we've got pride on the line, we've got titles on the line, this becomes a Fest building. And all rules are out the door. So the Effie you get next week, the White Mike you get next week, the matchups you get next week that have never been possible before PWX versus Fest are not just going to be big matchups because they're exciting names versus exciting names. They're big matchups because you're now in the house of Fest. You're now in the house of Effie, and all rules are off the table.
Well, something that may be on the table, you know, I was mentioning to you earlier, I have been watching some of your interviews on YouTube. Obviously, you're an articulate speaker. Something that may be in the future and on the table. Have you ever thought about perhaps hosting your own show on the Highspots Wrestling Network? Is that a possibility?
You know, I consider myself a pretty opinionated guy. I've said some things online. I stopped holding my tongue. I think there's a lot of silliness to wrestling, a lot of trashiness in wrestling. There's a lot of things in wrestling we should change. And if you really want to give me a voice, if you really want to open up that conversation, I think you'd hear some things from some other guys when provoked by Effy that you wouldn't normally hear from another interviewer. I think we'd really be getting to the heart of the matter, the heart of the frustration, the heart of what keeps driving these boys if they had Effy leading, guiding, questioning, having all the conversations that nobody thinks you're allowed to have. Yeah, but is the Highspots Network ready for Effy?
You know, I guess that's a question we'll have to find out the answer to sooner or later. But before we go, I think it's only fitting, out of the initials L, G, B, T, and Q, which one do you most relate to?
You know, I've said it many times as properly as possible when discussing the beautiful members of the LGBTQIA plus community. But I'm the big old queer Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that Q is right up in my face. Because I'm out there giving kisses to all the boys and all the girls and everybody in between. And I'm out there laying them out the same way. Equal rights, equal lefts, with kisses all around, baby. I'm as queer as it comes, and I'm here to show you all the love.
Well, I don't know how we should end this. Should it end with a handshake, a hug? Should we make out?
Oh my God. I'll give you a kiss on the cheek.